Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmac Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And as you know, viewers, we are discussing the human rights, and this episode is in continuation, or rather part two of yesterday's episode, where we are discussing about right to education. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend from Ahmedabad, Mr. Nagesh Sood. Nagesh is a very senior advocate practicing in Ahmedabad High Court and a very well known human rights activist across India. Nagesh, how are you today?
Hi CK, I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing me again to Akulmac. So I'm really delighted to be with you today.
Thank you very much, Nagesh. And as I've already introduced that this episode or this discussion is in continuation to our discussion as of yesterday, where we discussed about the right to education from the international perspective. But I think we are very eager to know how does it impact us as Indians, and we'd like to know your opinion.
Yes, CK, today we'll speak about right to education in India in particular. So in India, the Constitution inserted Article 21A in the Constitution of India to provide free and compulsory education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years as a fundamental right. The right of children to free and compulsory education, that is RTE Act 2009, represents the consequential legislation which envisaged under Article 21A means that every child has a right to full-time elementary education of satisfactory and equitable quality in a formal school which satisfy certain essential norms and standards. Article 21A and RTE Act 2009 came into effect on April 1, 2010. The title of the Right to Education Act 2009 incorporates words like free and compulsory. Now, what is free education? Free education in India means that no child, other than a child who has been admitted by his or her parents to a school which is not supported by the appropriate government, shall be liable to pay any kind of fee or charges or expenses which may prevent him or her from pursuing and completing elementary education. So, if the child is not able to pay, then it is free education for him. So far as compulsory education is concerned, it casts an obligation on the appropriate government, that is the state government as well as the central government, or the local authorities to provide and ensure education and attendance and completion of elementary education by all children in the age from 16 to 14. So with this, India has moved forward to a right-based framework that casts a legal obligation on the central and state government to implement this fundamental child right as enshrined in Article 21A of the Constitution in accordance with the provisions of Right to Education Act 2009. Now, what does the Right to Education 2009 provides? It provides right of a child to free and compulsory education till completion of elementary education in a neighborhood school. That is, the neighborhood school means a school which is in the vicinity of 1 to 3 kilometers. Then it says compulsory education, which obligates the government to provide free elementary education and ensure compulsory admission, attendance, and completion of the elementary education to every child in the 6 to 14 age group. Free means that no child shall be liable to pay any kind of fee or charges or expenses which may prevent him or her for pursuing and completing elementary education. It makes provisions for a non-admitted child to be admitted to an age appropriate class. It also specifies the duties and responsibilities of appropriate government and the local authority and parents in providing free and compulsory education. It also lays down certain norms and standards relating to uh, pupil teacher ratio, buildings and infrastructure, school working days, teacher working hours, etc. It provides for prohibition of deployment of teachers for non-educational work except elections or census, etc. And it provides for appointment of appropriately trained teachers, that is, teachers with requisite entry and academic qualification. It also prohibits, this is very important, it also prohibits physical punishment and mental harassment. There are other schemes of the government which are functional, like Service Shiksha Abhiyan, Integrated Child Development Services, that is ICDS, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalay scheme. Then there is Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha scheme by Ministry of Human Resources Development, and midday meal scheme also, which is very important because uh, it is it was started in 1995 with a view to enhance enrollment and retention and attendance, and simultaneously improving nutritional levels among children. And then this scheme has been further amended and became a cooked midday meal scheme, under which every child in every government and government aided primary school was to be served a prepared midday meal uh, with some calories and proteins, etc., for 200 days. So this scheme has been extended from time to time, and this is the endeavor of the government, wherein the right of child to have free and compulsory education has been fulfilled by the government.
This is a very good information, Nagesh. I think many people may not know that it is the government's responsibility to provide free education, primary education, and probably in certain states, even the secondary education, along with the meals. So I think there are certain below poverty line parents who don't prefer to send their kids to school because they would like their kids to help them. Now there is an incentive for them to send to school because there is a midday food scheme. So they will study, get the primary education and also the food. So the parents don't have to worry about the food for the children. It's remarkable. But my question to you would be, from legal standpoint, how all these schemes are implemented? Is there a department overlooking all this, or the schools have to follow certain reporting mechanism? What it is?
Yes, CK, actually, since it is an obligation of the state government and the central government and the local authority, so the Department of Education in the central ministry as well as in the state ministries have an obligation to see that the schemes as well as the right of the child is implemented. There has been some difficulties or we can say some roadblocks in implementation of these schemes. One is trafficking among children. You see, a lot of children are involved in trafficking in our country, whereby they are deprived of their right to education. Secondly, a lot of child labor is going on because usually we see that in villages, in rural areas, or in urban areas, children are forced to work to get some money to the household and contribute to the household. It is very difficult for a poor household to run if children do not contribute. And therefore, the mindset of the people is that children are made to work, though there is a restriction, it is illegal to have child labor, but because of their financial constraints, they are forced to work and do some menial works, or they are even employed in the factories and industries also, which is very unfortunate. So the government is trying its level best to implement right to education through the enactments as well as the schemes. But definitely the mindset of people has to change. People have to think that the girl child, the men, they first of all they have to bring equality among the girl child and the male child, and also allow the girl child to have this education, more particularly when it has become free in this country and compulsory also. So certain roadblocks are there in implementation for the government, but definitely we are catching up with the rights and trying to implement these schemes as well as the Right to Education Act.
In fact, today's discussion brings back some memories. A few years back, I got a chance to visit one of these private kitchens, which was providing, or rather, I would say, working under contract from one of the state governments to provide the midday meals. And it was so surprising, Nagesh. I feel very good to share this with you. The kitchen has not only provided employment to the rural people in the nearby villages, but they are feeding something like 100 villages. I mean, there are 100 schools, primary schools are being fed by this particular kitchen. And they are setting up records in terms of number of meals produced on a daily basis. And they've also mechanized the cooking mechanism where they don't use any carbon footprint based fuel. They used something very high tech stuff, and most of the cooking is done using gravity, and everything is so fresh. And when it is being cooked, the gravity is feeding, and from below the steam is rising, and that's how the different things are being cooked. It was remarkable experience. So I was like pleasantly surprised that even though India is such a large country with the population of 1.3 billion, the population itself offers so many challenges, but the innovation that we have and willingness to follow and to do the right thing in almost 99% of the population is remarkable.
Absolutely, I totally agree. In fact, this ICDS scheme of the government provides food and preschool education and primary health care to children who are less than 6 years of age and their mothers. So, this kind of schemes are very, very much available in India, so that right from the beginning, when a child is born, there is an encouragement by the government that we would provide food or primary health care to the mother and the child both, which is really welcoming in a country like India. And I'm sure these kind of schemes will definitely encourage people to send their children to school when there is a facility available, and do not care about uh, you know um, getting them into menial jobs or household work. So it is very encouraging that we see a lot of schemes being implemented by the government, and the children are being educated, to the best possible way.
In fact, the message we are giving today, after discussing with Nagesh, is that the primary education in our country, which is India, and all 29 states of the Union, is free it is obligation of the government. So I think the parents who are watching this program should know that there is no cost for providing primary education and to a certain extent secondary education. Apart from that, we are also covering the right to food because we discussed that few episodes back. But we are bringing that in this discussion, saying that the right of food to small children is also obligation of the government. So I think these are two things we are trying to convey to our viewers. Nagesh, it was pleasure talking to you. It was wonderful journey understanding these rights based on your knowledge. It was my personal gratitude and pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure too, CK, to be on this platform and sharing my bit of experience and little knowledge what I have of human rights. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
and we will meet again tomorrow to discuss yet another aspect of human rights. Until then, I will say goodbye to you.
Bye bye. Goodbye.
Bye.